Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to another episode of Demystified Tech with yours truly, Samuel Atranyi. We do this Friday and every Friday. Hopefully, work and life permit. We try to come your way to give you some goodness when it comes to technology, demystifying everything technology, at least everything in my domain of specialty. And if I don't know it, I'll bring people who I know and the friends that I know who know about it to talk to you about it. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at a recap of what happened at Microsoft Ignite. Hello, Wally Pleam. Thanks for joining. Joining the feed. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So today's episode will be taking a look at what happened at Ignite 2024, specifically the AI and Copilot conversations that happened during Microsoft Ignite. As I've stated, if this is your first time joining the channel, you would know that I do a lot. Recently, I'm focusing a lot more on AI and Copilot for the Friday shows and trying to demystify everything AI, Copilot. We started with installing DeepSeek on the local machines using Olama, setting it up, connecting it to some automation tools. If you missed it, somewhere here, the link will be there. Either you scan this QR code to connect to my YouTube channel, the content is going to be here, or just follow me on my social medias down here, or here, and you can get that video to watch. If this is your first time, I would entreat that you subscribe, you like, you share, and then you hit the notification button so that if there is any update or anytime I go live, you will be the first to know it. If this sounds like something that is interesting to you, stick and stay. When we come back from the montage, we're going to jump right into it. Stick and stay with me. Awesome. Yes, welcome again to Demystify Tech with Sam. This is the Modding Developers Journey where we talk about trending technology stuff and we try as much as possible to be very, very hands on and exclusive. So I try to do it with you. I don't go sit somewhere, do it, and come and show you that, hey, this is all flashy, this is how it works. I choose a style where I do it with you. So we feel together, we learn together, and we grow together. That's being the mantra. So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to look um, what's happening in the area of AI and Copilot, specifically when it comes to the Microsoft ecosystem. A couple of series, or probably a couple of months ago, I did a whole series on then that was called Power Virtual Agent, which was part of the Microsoft ecosystem, which was a platform that allows you to create your own. Then we call them bots. Now the term now are agents, agent or Copilot. So um, it's actually PVA has gone through a lot of transformation and changes to what today we know as Copilot Studio. That has got a lot of integrations, makes it all easy. There's also a few evolution when it comes to bot or agentic creation in the Microsoft ecosystem. If you remember the bot framework and the bot composer framework, those have actually transitioned. Hey, thank you for joining. Deli. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Um, you know, I'll be waiting for my juices. And also, let's talk. If you're a startup and you want to use technology to drive your business, just connect with me here, any of them, and let's talk. Let's talk about that. So it's gone through a lot of evolutions, and today we're just going to talk about how to leverage or what's new in that space, and then also to look at how you can apply that to be productive, how you can apply that to your businesses to actually transform, or be ready. I keep saying that the era of AI is here to stay with us, whether we like it or yes, it's here. The earlier you start to add, use it or accept it or to add it to your tool belt or toolkit to make you very, very productive and take a leap in your business ahead of your competitors. This is the time you need to get involved and start to use it, whether it is for arts, entertainment, culture, whatever it is. You can now apply technology. Della is saying, let's see what Della is saying. Della is saying that I want to use technology to push my business life. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's doable. You can do that. Let's talk about it. Let's see. And for those who want to get into tech startups, talk to me about Microsoft for startup, hubs. I'll show you how to get into, move your startup, using Microsoft ecosystem with free credit. I'm a beneficiary of it. Our Crafted Climate project now has about $150,000 Microsoft Cloud spent. So talk to me and I'll show you how to do that. But before we get into it, let's talk about something that is stressing all of us. Let me talk to you a bit about Fraud Wall. What is Fraud Wall? So Fraud Wall is a product from Logic Solutions, which helps you to protect yourself from mobile and social scam. I know a lot of us have, or some of us have, who know family or friends or friends or friends or family that have fallen victim when it comes to this whole mobile money scam, where you send money to the wrong person, they scam you with stuff like that. So we're trying to bridge that gap. We say, hey, anytime someone or something like that happens, just go to fraudwall.ai, report that person, attach all the screenshots, audio, all the evidence, attach it to it. We will process it. Our AI agent to process it, hand it off to a human agent to verify, because we want to use AI responsibly. Verify that and list that. In the long term, what's going to happen is that next time you want to send money or someone wants to send money or receive money, they can verify that they are not dealing with a scammer or someone who is trying to fraud them. We have a couple of platforms. We have the website, which is fraudwall.ai. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to easily check it out. We are also on the USSD for Ghana right now. So if you're in Ghana, you can use *920 *419 hash to get it to. If you're also on Telegram, we have a Telegram bot. Just look for Fraudwall bot and you can use that. So that is it for Fraudwall. Now, if you're still interested about this whole AI thing and you want to learn more, you want to, see how can I apply that to my business as a startup, as a, small business, as a mid or as an enterprise, well, then tomorrow I'll entreat you to join us for the Global AI Bootcamp Accra 2025 edition. We are starting ours. It actually happened last week. But we had another global event, and so tomorrow, if this is tomorrow, we're doing another global AI. We're doing a global event, which is AI Bootcamp. So I'll be talking about getting started with AI agent. I have a few people lined up to talk about how to start to use AI, and it's going to start 10 a.m. GMT. Join us for a session that promises to give you a lot of insight on how to use AI to achieve all your goodness. So with all the pleasantries and all the crazy things out of the way, I let's delve into what we're going to talk about today, which is primarily Copilot Studio. As I mentioned in the introduction, if you don't know what Copilot Studio is, I am going to go ahead and open Copilot Studio right now and just walk you through a very simple uh, a very simple demo I created last week Friday on the show, where I showed you how to easily ground Copilot Studio with your data, right, and have it do stuff for you. For those who follow me a lot, you know that this man here likes to drink beer a lot, and I had an automation that could tell me the amount of beer in my fridge and when it's restock and all that. So I decided to build on it, since now the whole era of agentic co-pilots and agent, I decided to create one that allows me to actually have a conversation with that agent and also do stuff. So let me quickly show you what I did. I mean, it was just a quick example, and I mentioned that I'll be doing a whole series from zero to hero on Microsoft Copilot Studio. So if you're looking at leveraging Copilot to do stuff, stick and stay. The next couple of episodes that I will be dealing with, we'll be tackling that specifically, where I'll teach you how to get started with Copilot to create your first agent. Look at all the complicated aspects to it. I'll show you how to do that. But today is just to recap and just to set the pace or set the tone for what to expect. To say that, hey, this is what Copilot Studio has evolved to be. And therefore, these are the things to look out for. These are how people are using it. And we intend to leverage and use it properly, or use it well when the time comes. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to just show you quickly what I did last week. It's just a quick, simple example. And then we'll jump into our presentation, which will likely take off my camera, but primarily would allow me to walk you through the sessions today. So Let's go ahead and look for our agent. Where is our agent? Where is our agent? Let's go to agent here. Hopefully it's not deleted because this is like last week. So, and don't forget, this session also allows you to ask me any questions you want to ask about it. So here we go. This is our agent. I'm going to open our beer agent. Um, and yeah, I walked through a quick example of that. But today we're going to look at it. And from next week, we're going to start the session on how to get started, how to sign up, how to create a reverse bot, how to add, we're going to go through step by step with it. So just a recap, this was just a very simple BA agent that I created that is supposed to help me determine. So I was showing, this was at the Global Power Platform Bootcamp last that I did this, and I showed how to create a Power Apps, how to connect it to a flow and automation that sends emails and stuff like that. And then I decided to create an agent that sits on top of that data. So technically what happens is that anytime I drink beer, right, I have an app that allows me to log where I drank the beer and the type of beer that I drank and then the quantity that I took, right? And this information is grounded in a database table somewhere. And then my agent is grounded on that data in our database table. So there are three tables: location, beer intake, and beer. And so with that information, I can actually ask the beer information about it. So the last time I had the beer was last week on the show when I did that. So let's see if the agent can tell me, hey, buddy. Now, the cool thing is that we mentioned, I need to move my face from here so that you guys can see what's going on the side. There you go. So one thing that, so let's say hello, beer buddy. So one thing that I asked it to do was that anytime someone engaged it, right? Anytime someone engaged it to have a conversation with it the first time, it should always respond to the person with a beer quote. So it had this famous quote by Benjamin Franklin, and I posted on my student. People were finding it funny. It says that beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Benjamin Franklin. That's why there's a song that says, "In heaven there is no beer. That is why we drink our beer. For when we go to heaven, there's no beer in heaven, so we drink the beer here." So that's just the fun thing. And then it says, "Hey, how can I assist you on this fine day, looking for some beer recommendation or fun fact about beer?" I can go ahead and say no. I'll say, when was the last time I when was the last let's do beer when was the last beer intake, right? So I say, when was the last beer intake, and then it goes ahead to retrieve. And where is it retrieving this information from? The cool thing is that it will retrieve the information based on the data you ground onto it, right? So as you can see here, it went ahead to tell me that, hey, the last beer intake was during the Global Power Platform 2025 celebration on 1st March at this time, right? And you see that it's pointing to references. It's asking me, it's telling me that, hey, this is where I got that data from. I got that data from the information you provided here, and there's a link to it. You can see it is connected to this this database table here called CRM beer intake. All right. Now it's told me the date, it's told me the venue, it's told me the time, right? So let me go ahead and say how many bottles did how many bottles was that, right? If I say how many bottles was that, let's see again. So it's going to go ahead, still retrieve it, still grounded on that information, because that day information was provided about the number of bottle, when was that, and all that. So it's trying to retrieve that and will tell me the amount of bottles that were taken, even to the extent of even showing or telling me what beer, was taking, right? So, so it says, so there you go. Let's go back to this again. And as you can see, it says you consumed a total of 6 bottles of beer during your last beer intake on the said what date, right? So this is all based off of grounding data that it has, of me to do that. So if I go ahead and say, what type of beer did I take? Um, did I take on 1st March 2025, right? So what type of beer did I take on 1st March 2025? So again, going through it, retrieving the information, and will tell me the type of beer I took during that session because that information was available. And I'm using beer as an example here, but look at, imagine that. So there you go. It returned everything now. It says that on March, so here you see the component on March 1st, 2025, I consumed two types of beers. Both of which were lagers. The first was there you go. So this was the GPP. This was the celebration, and the second one was the one I took at the home drinking job. No, this is actually the event. I think you didn't understand me. So these are the things that you need to ground on. So I'm trying to the beer. Okay, I said okay. Which type of beer? So when I said type, it probably mistook that for the venue, right? So if I say that, what beer did I drink, right? If I say what beer, so now it'll probably go ahead and look for the beer, the actual beer type, or what the beer name, right? Or I could have said what is the name of the beer that I took, but again, it has to do with just data. Now, okay. So there you go. That is it. Now it's so look at that. It's saying that you drank. There you go. Club beer at the first during two occasions, right? So there were two occasions that day, the Global Power Platform Bootcamp 2025 celebration and the home live stream drinking on the job. So these were two events that I drank club beer in these two instances. Now, here I'm using beer loosely, right? But imagine this. This could be your shop. And since Della volunteered, and said hello and shared with us, this could be Dela's business, and Dela does a lot of local drinks, look for events as well. Events, all your events, parties, all the events. She does local stuff, traditional stuff as well. So imagine this is a bot for Dela's business, right? And is grounded with data of the type of juices she produces, the prices, the cost, all the things about it. And this agent is created and published on her site or even integrated into channels like WhatsApp and other platforms, then people can go and have this conversation with it. Now, the interesting thing will be that the less agent can be developed to trigger based on a WhatsApp call, right? Or sorry, WhatsApp message, or even a text message or an email, right? So that when it triggers, it's going to run the flow, get the information, return it. Even to the extent that they can go ahead and even do bookings or even do requests and processes depending on how you do it. And this and many more. And I'm saying I'm using BA loosely, but look at it could be banking, it could be even it could even be farming, agric, right? If you have the data, what was your yield, what is the projected yield using, and all this has a foundational generative AI GPT-4 plus right to it. So today, this is just an overview of what I did last week. So we're going to jump into understanding what's new with all this environment we're seeing, how we can leverage it to help us develop interesting agents that would drive and fuel our businesses and take us to the next level. So I'm going to go ahead and let's spin. And don't forget, you can drop your questions as we move on. Drop your questions as we move on. So let me go ahead and bring out, and forgive me, my screen. It might it might take control of my camera, but don't worry, you're going to see me. I'm going to inject myself somewhere into it so that we will be able to do this. I know you can still hear me. We need to try something here. So let's go ahead, slideshow. Let me change this. And we need to bring a cameo here. Let's see. We can enable this. All right. So I should be somewhere there on the slide. Okay, I'm going to change this a bit, people. Let's use this one. And let's do this. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to put myself in there somewhere small. Sorry guys. Let's go to my desktop. I'm just trying to get my slides ready, and let's go ahead and do this. So yeah, you should see this. So let me go ahead and pam 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 pam. Let's hide this. Actually, let's do this. Awesome. There you go. Yep. So let me know if you can see. You can just say it. So here's, yeah. Imagine you take it step further when. Oh yeah, there's an interesting comment here. Hey Sylvian, Sylvia had joined. Sylvia, you've joined the call. Sylvester, thanks for joining. Sly. Imagine you take it step further when access control, user access, and apply to information. Yeah. Yes. And you're right. Yeah, that's true. Um, so what Sly is saying is that, so primarily what you can also do with it is the fact that you can actually leverage how do you call it, you can leverage access control, right? So that even people, you're showing people what access, the information that they have access to, right? Thank you Sly for joining. Yeah, we need to talk. I hope you're coming to Summit though. I hope you're coming to Summit. Thanks for that addition. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and then let's get this party started. So, let's go ahead. So, I would really be glad if you can actually, um, if you'll be kind enough to share this with me. Just give feedback on what you think on the channel. I mean, this has to do with survey for this topic that I'm coming to treat. So scan the QR code, give your survey to what you think, you feel it is. Just a sec, people. I feel that hold on. I need to ensure that our cameo is showing on all the slides. Sorry, guys. I need to do slideshow, record, cameo, all slides. Okay. And let's continue. Current slide. Okay, awesome. Now let me see if I bring this here. Yay! I'm in the video now. Yeah. Awesome. So like I said, kindly, scan this. I also bring this back, give you a survey of it, and hopefully we can have some fun. Let me bring this here. Let's bring this here. Awesome. So let's go.
Microsoft Copilot Studio.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. So before we jump into it, I gave an example of, I just showed you an example of how Copilot Studio is used. I showed you a simple example of how I leverage it to create an agent for my beer, and I'm actually refining this because I'll be presenting this agent at a couple of conferences this year. So I'll be fine tuning it to walk you through the journey of how it started to this point. Now, before we get into it, I would like to how do you call it? I would like to share. I want to share a video, right? I'd want us to watch a video that kind of like breaks down in totality, shares what the whole Copilot Studio is, and the whole thing was. And then when we come back from that video, I'll take you to it. So, and also give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio that is coming out as well. So let's watch this.
Microsoft Copilot Studio lets you create your own agent experiences and make them available instantly wherever users are across multiple channels. Simply click to create an agent and describe what you want it to support, providing instructions about behavior, and point it to a knowledge source such as a website to further infuse it with data. That's it. In just 3 simple steps, your agent is instantly capable of rich, multi-turn conversations. Since Copilot Studio is a full end-to-end SaaS with no infrastructure to deploy or maintain, you can easily publish this to your support site or other channels like Microsoft Teams, so your customers or employees can use it quickly. Or you might want to further infuse your agent with additional knowledge by easily adding a number of different data sources from the knowledge page, including documents, SharePoint sites, Dataverse, and data from your CRM and ERP systems. With this, your agent is an expert, ready to reason over your enterprise knowledge. You can also easily add actions to empower your agent with the ability to execute various tasks and automation. Copilot Studio comes with thousands of connectors to allow you to connect with your back-end systems to create and leverage custom connectors. That's all you need to build an agent. Just add your knowledge, actions, and topics, and your agent will use generative AI to reason over them and respond to whatever your users may ask. What's more, agents can now work autonomously behind the scenes, not just chat-initiated requests. Taking action when a specific event occurs, like an email is received, or a new employee is added to an HR system. Copilot Studio covers the complete end-to-end lifecycle to build, deploy, and monitor and improve with built-in advanced analytics. Makers can view KPIs like engagement rate and satisfaction score with trend comparisons. You can also view your knowledge source performance, error rates, and customer satisfaction feedback for deeper insights. Copilot Studio can also extend and customize Microsoft Copilots. Microsoft 365 Copilot, Copilot for Sales, and Copilot in Dynamics 365 Customer Service, enabling personalized company-specific use cases with access to back-end systems that Microsoft Copilots don't have existing access to. Copilot Studio gives you the power to take action on your data, backed with the security you've come to expect from Microsoft. Agent building has changed forever, with unlimited ways to build and extend agents and copilots across a myriad of use cases, thanks to Microsoft Copilot Studio. Try it now at aka.ms/try Copilot Studio.
Awesome. So that, and keep in mind aks.ms.try Copilot Studio. You can try that out today. So try that. So let's walk through this. All right. So what is this whole ecosystem about? Right. What is this whole ecosystem about? So yeah, I'm just getting some good some responses and comments from friends. But anyway, so let's talk about this, right? So it to give you a broad picture, right, of the things or things you take away from what Copilot Studio includes, right? It's a complete life cycle, right? It's a complete life cycle for building, managing, and publishing your Copilot, or what you want to call your agent. All right. Now you can start by very just describing, right, what you want to build. It's as simple as describing what you want to build. Okay. So from what you want to build, what you to you know to adding your enterprise knowledge to your Copilot, right? From company website to your files to your internal sites to your structured data in Dataverse, in Fabric, in Graph, as well as third-party sources, right? And this is grounded with your own large language model. If you don't have a large language model, you can use a base. You can use GPT. You can use DeepSeek. You can use any model as the base for this generative, conversational or very interactive agent. And you can start chatting over that knowledge, right? You can also add things like actions to expose APIs to LLMs. You can call appropriate, how do you call it, actions. You can publish it to multi-channel, like I mentioned, to WhatsApp, to Teams, as a chat on its own. And it can perform, you can perform through the built-in analysis that it has, right? It's important, right? It's a SaaS application. So there's technically no infrastructure you need to deploy, right? There are no models to train, nothing. You're basically building it on top of your entire infrastructure, right? So you can start by basically, determining, hey, this is what I want to build, right? And this is what I want to trigger it. Maybe I want to have a conversation with it via a chat, as you saw me do. I did that with a chat. It could be saying when an email received, when a text message is received, when a call is made to an endpoint, right? That's what you want to trigger it. And you are chatting again over your entire knowledge base with generative AI. So I mentioned giving it files from all this, and you can also create specific topics, just like we used to do in Power Virtual Agent or Bot Composer Framework, building the pro code way. You can have specific topics created, right? And like I said, all this is backed by APIs. With again, if you're used to Power Platform, all your thousands of pre-built components are also accessible for you to use within the Copilot Studio, right? So you have actions. You can publish to multi-channel. You can monitor it. You can integrate it. Most importantly, leveraging services from Azure, right? Now, with all these capabilities, what actually is new in Copilot? So these are certain segments of what have been added to it, or what makes Copilot the interesting one. Let's take them, one after the other. So we can talk about easier integration into M365, right? So now Copilot Studio Extension Builder, which allows you to build agent and Copilot, is now natively inside of M365. And that is actually one of the latest releases that is now in public preview. You can try that in, and I'll share that at the end of the session. So it's embedded into it. So you know, you have now the ability to build, your easily build your AIs within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, right? So what making it easy. So here, as you can see, um, there's a simple expression here, as you can see, using it within Copilot, chat. So I can go in there, simply click on create an agent, describe what I want it to be, just like you're seeing, describing it, and then going through the steps, and automatically create, this agent for you right within your 365 ecosystem, right? Right within your Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Now, here's how you can use it, just by having a, very basic conversation with it, to immediately create and use an agent which is, live. Let's check this out.
Copilot agents can supercharge every business process and build capacity for every individual and team, scaling your impact like never before. Now, with Agent Builder and BizChat, we're bringing the power of agents to you, right in the flow of your work. And we made them incredibly easy to create. Say you want to build an agent for field service technicians, and you want this agent to have access to all your product knowledge and be able to give you step-by-step instructions in real time. You open Agent Builder and describe that you want it to be able to reason over your product catalog and repair tickets. It's built in seconds and ready to use. You can edit and configure it, expand its knowledge base by tapping into resources like SharePoint sites or other IT-approved data sources. You can even update its name or image to align with your company's branding. You can now test the agent or hit create and you're done. And of course, the agent respects your organization's Microsoft 365 and SharePoint security permissions. Now your Copilot agent is ready in BizChat and you can share it with your team.
Awesome. So that is the how easy the integration now is, that allows you to use, to be able to use Copilot right within, or build Copilot, the build that use it within your M365. Now, the second interesting thing is, and Sylvester, they just talked about, the last bit talked about the security part of it, where it is actually still grounded on your company policies. Now, the second part which we talk about is, you know, it's one of the topmost focuses for Microsoft, especially on AI, right? Is the AI quality, the quality of the AI answers across your knowledge sources. So this is including SharePoint, Dataverse, all your data sources. The importance of the focus is the quality of answers. So it's a key priority, right, for Copilot Studio, and Microsoft is making a massive investment here. And what the teams are doing is that hundreds of data scientists working together in this area to continuously update, the SaaS, or state of the art RAGs, their strategies, their latest models, and all that, right? So if we take an example of this, so first off, like I mentioned, there are three major categories of investment that Microsoft is doing in this space. The first part, we can talk about, is the enhanced model, right? But the entire answers pipeline, all the places where you use generative AI now are running on, ChatGPT 4.0, right? That's a major improvement. So in accuracy, the relevance, and even better ability to reason over the context, you've given it. So across board, all of it is using at least ChatGPT 4.0, right? The second investment area, right, is in the quality of SharePoint answers. Is the quality of SharePoint answers that, which are very, is a very common act. So here, they've made significant enhancement to how the chunk SharePoint files and how they select the most relevant chunks or that allow you to improve the quality. So practically, your AI responses have been more than 40%, right, increment in it. And then they've shifted from to a new semantic indexing search for SharePoint. Basically, what they are saying is that there's 15 more answers with relaxed summarization, which means that there are significant improvements, especially if you're connected to SharePoint link, right, like resources or data sources, right? And then knowledge creation, right? So based on that, analyzes your knowledge base to provide the visibility over which sources are being used. You have also the opportunity to say, hey, this in all my knowledge base, right, this particular one is the authoritative knowledge base I want you to refer to first before basing it on the other stuff. And it has there's a guided UX experience for you to filter sources and add custom sources. I show that in my last week edition, but like I'm saying, I'm starting a whole series from next week, so make sure you're subscribed, you're tuning to get this working for you. So here, take a look at this. Quite simple. So one of the it's part of a third major improvement, which is the how now you have direct control over the agent, right? So whatever knowledge you put into it, you can say, hey, this is the knowledge base you're using. I need you to use this knowledge base to ground the responses you're giving me, right? So the new knowledge creation experience provides, what sources are being used, what kind of questions remain unanswered, and the accuracy of the responses. You can check all that from
We are
there.
now giving you tools to
listen.
improve your agent by bringing knowledge analytics right here within the knowledge page. With these insights, I'm able to see how often my knowledge is being used, the error rate, and track its answer rate. There looks to be an opportunity to improve the answer rate, and I can use the suggestions from the curator to see exactly how to do this. I can review the unanswered questions to see the root of the problem. There seems to be missing information about regulatory compliance. I can now leverage the recommendations here to see what data I can add that could help fill this gap in my knowledge. I see that I have a SharePoint with a repository of data around regulatory compliance, and I'm able to easily add it. Once it's added, I'll go ahead and test the same question that went unanswered previously. And as you can see, the agent now leverages this SharePoint information to provide a response. And with this new curator, you can do other things like prioritize which knowledge sources will be used by marking sources as authoritative, and even configure and filter the knowledge source itself. Now, you not only have a view into the success and usage of your data, but you also have actionable insights and suggestions in order to help you improve it.
Excellent. So that's just what I was sharing. You can see from the video that you have the opportunity to use the recommendation in the analytics engine, right? So here it's telling you people are asking questions that your agent doesn't have answers to. So it shows up to tell you that, hey, this is a set of questions that people are asking that I believe you could add more grounded information about, so that I'll be able to answer these questions for them going forward. So that is one of the advantages. Now, the third thing, which I would share with you here, has to do with analytics, right? So it is important to understand, right, the how Copilot actually improves the performance by just asking simple customer questions. Let's look at this briefly. So they've added, what the Microsoft team has added as some of the additions is they've added the improved analytics that provides insight into how the generative system is working. So first of all, which generative responses are working well, which sources are useful, and which are not, and more. So there is let's see, there is an example that I would show pretty soon. So let's go ahead and look at analytics part of it. I'll share that as well in another slide. Now, the next thing is security and governance. You cannot be doing technology or data related stuff today and not think about security from the ground up. And that's what the Microsoft the Microsoft team has done to do that. So they've now added some of the core advantages is by default, remember, Copilot Studio is a SaaS application. So they are now PCI, High Trust, HIPAA. You think about it, they have that certification by default built into it, but then that also has an array of admin and governance capabilities that you can actually leverage or make use of. So here, there's more control for governing agentic capabilities with triggers and to disable chat transcript logging, especially let's say if you're working in an environment where you don't necessarily need to log the chat because it's sensitive. You can do that. You have a single tenant app registration for new agents. So now I think I'm trying to one of our colleague MEPs actually did a video on this. I'll try to link it somewhere and was specific with the new things. Now when you create every agent, there's a single app registration for that agent, allowing it to address, to work on specific thing. Now the only thing is that for new agent, it addresses there's a restriction to multi-tenancy. So if for some reason your agent requires to have access across multi-tenant in your Azure infrastructure, you can actually go in there and update the app registration. There is also now a network isolation with Power Platform's IP firewall to enable IP range traffic restrictions. So they are making sure that it is not just one of those things, but they are adding more security and governance restrictions and policies and controls to allow you to further, secure and fine tune your Copilot implementation. So admin visibility also into the authenticated agent, end users, audit logs and all that are also available for you to look into. The fifth one, right, is agentic capabilities, right? And one of the exciting things that has been added is the autonomous ability of our agent. Now, the autonomous ability of the agent is the interesting one. So, for instance, for me who likes to drink a lot of beer, right, the autonomous agent part of it, I can say is that I can just say, hey, how much or how many bottles of beer do I have in my fridge? And by virtue of it knowing that I have less beer in the fridge, it can automatically go ahead and start a restocking or request process. So you can send a request to restock, approval that has to be approved, and then once it's approved, it can go through the process of sending in the request order to my distributor or my supplier, to supply me the more beer as I want, and that is very very interesting. So now your autonomous capabilities can be triggered either by event, not just conversations. Like I mentioned, they could be triggered by an email coming in. It could be triggered by a call. It could be triggered by leaving a button push. It could be triggered by it could be triggered by an AI inference that is watching an AI camera that is in your fridge watching the number of bottles of beer you have. So by virtue of you taking the last bottle, it could trigger this autonomous capabilities. It automates and orchestrates long-running asynchronous jobs as well. It follows a human guardrails and asks for help. That's what I'm saying. Microsoft, one of the big things that Microsoft does that I appreciate a lot is responsible AI. They would almost always ensure that there is a human part of it that is constantly seeking, hey, this is what I want to do. Do you approve of it before it does? And then it monitors, it learns, and then improves with each, iteration. Let's take a listen to this. Just watch these steps as we look at how you can leverage this.
I've created an agent to help onboard new employees, troubleshoot hardware questions, and order new devices. Here, you'll see I've provided a description and instructions in natural language to define the types of scenarios I like this agent to support. These instructions are key to guiding the behavior of this agent. I've added knowledge sources and actions specific to onboarding and hardware troubleshooting. But now I can also configure autonomous triggers for this agent so it can run automatically in response to an event, not only when a chat trigger occurs. To do this, I'll start by choosing from any of the trigger options available, which align to your existing business processes or systems and applications you use today. I'll select a trigger to start when a new employee is added or confirmed to our database. With a couple of steps, I'm able to configure this trigger and select the table and the scope for the Dataverse record where this new employee information is being stored for my organization. With this new trigger added to my agent, it will now execute the appropriate actions asynchronously without me having to request any support directly. It does this. I've created an agent to help onboard new employees, troubleshoot.
So
It
sorry
does this by
guys,
leveraging the
okay,
actions
there we
I've
go.
configured and the instructions I've given it to welcome the new team member and order them new equipment for their first day. Let's test this new trigger. To do this, I'll simulate adding a new employee record to the Dataverse table by sending the employee information in the test pane. And I'm able to see how the agent identifies the right actions and knowledge and chains them together to follow the instructions I've provided. It first identifies the knowledge source for IT procurement policies and then welcomes the new employee. The key here is that the agent builds these steps on its own. They are not prescribed steps in any static order. It's determining in real time how to self-assemble these actions and find the right one relevant to this particular employee. To continue testing, I'll respond as if I were Miguel receiving this welcome message. And the agent continues to run, identifying the next step in the chain and leveraging the action to then list out all the devices available to Miguel. In addition to testing my new trigger, I can also view all the historical runs in the new activity page, giving makers insights into the autonomous actions for their agent. You now have the ability to review each agent run, handle exceptions, and make improvements. I'll drill into one activity run to show you what I mean. Here we see another dynamic plan that was created at runtime by this agent to execute this workflow for this specific new employee. We can see the connected third-party systems that the agent used. Clicking on the details of an action, we can further dig into the specific inputs and outputs for this action, which is invaluable for debugging the connected systems and APIs. We are also able to explore the conversation history to learn more and see how we can improve this agent's outcomes. It is now easier than ever to create an agent capable of handling end-to-end tasks asynchronously to streamline workflows, enhance productivity, and drive operational success across departments. I've created an agent.
Excellent. So if you look at that, right, I just want to share one of the vital important things when it comes to that agentic, autonomous capability is that now, as a business, you can focus on defining your processes. Define your processes, define your policies that govern it, define your grounded data asset, and leave the rest for Copilot Studio to do that in alignment with what you've told, what you've provided it, and it will still ask you, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you approve of it? So you're getting to the era where you can now drill down and focus on your core business and let your data and Copilot do the rest for you. The other interesting thing is the Azure AI integration. So all the beautiful and all the great Azure AI services and capabilities now are available within Copilot, Studio fully for you to leverage. So you can easily leverage custom AI patterns from Azure AI Studio, it's not Azure AI Foundry. You can leverage all that. You can build your own custom models. You think about it. It is endless. And I can share this with you so you can connect to things like Azure Search that allows your agent to chat over your knowledge in Azure AI. You can you can utilize your RAGs, and someone says, what's RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. That is just basically saying that it is grounding or responding, right? So let me just quickly explain that in short. RAG simply means that now you know that large language models are trained on data set already. Okay, they've already been trained on data set. Using RAG simply means, hey, this is a set of my company information or my specific data. I need you to add this, and then whilst you're having the conversation, you can also pull data from there to respond to the questions I asked. That's basically it. And it has a very intuitive experience, and you can leverage it. And you can also bring your own modules, right? That's another interesting thing about it. If you don't like the modules that isn't presented to you, you can bring your own. So you can go to, the AI Foundry, create your own models, define them, and bring them in and leverage, or make use of them. So as far as models, Azure offers, as you know, over 1,000 plus 600 models in their catalog, and they're always adding it. They've added DeepSeek. If you want to use it, that's fine. And yet now customers will be able to use, the model to build their own thing. Let's take a quick look at an example of this.
Azure AI has over 1,600 models and allows you to create your own. Now, you can easily use these in Copilot Studio. Let's say I have a model optimized for the financial industry in Azure AI Studio, and I want to use this in Copilot Studio to answer a financial related topic. Here in my topic, I can simply call the model. I pass the user query to the model, and I also pass in a financial data variable that I have already gathered from the user. I can also provide additional instructions to pass to the model if I want. Now let's test this topic. As you can see, the agent leverages the custom financial model I added and returns the appropriate industry-specific information. With this, customers can use a variety of custom models with Copilot Studio, including domain-specific models, small language models, custom fine-tuned models, and more.
Yeah, so that is the Azure AI integration that you can add into your Copilot, to make sure that you're getting it. Now, the interesting part is Microsoft 365 Agent SDK integration, and I like this. So, when I started the conversation, I mentioned that if you've been following me on the Friday shows, I think last 2 years, when we did a whole series on building your own bot, now we call them agent, or no chatbot, but agent, leveraging the Microsoft bot framework, right? Composer framework, which was a more pro approach to building bots, or now agent. It's been rebranded right now. That whole set of SDKs is now called Microsoft 365 Agent SDK. That allows you to now programmatically access Copilot Studio endpoint in your own custom application. So if you feel that what is being provided in Copilot Studio is just citizen developer for you, or low code for you to just drag and drop, and you want to do your pro code things, you can now leverage the Microsoft 365 Agent SDK, to do that. So this, allows you to access Copilot Studio endpoint with code, embed them into your applications and more. You can also leverage Azure AI Foundry, semantic kernel, or other AI services of your choice, and you can use that to extend Copilot. So if you're a pro coder and you feel like, yeah, I want to I want to own it, and I want to do my own things, you can leverage, the Microsoft SDK, 365 Agent SDK. And last but not the least, let me hide my face so we talk about it, is what we call the generative IVR. Now, there's intuitive natural generative answers powered by conversations for IVR. So now, this is voice. This is no longer just, how do you call it? This is no longer just your, not your Copilot just spinning up text, right? Now you can do automated answering and voices with Copilot, so text to speech. So now you can now build an entire IVR, using Copilot Studio. So a hotel reservation, booking, appointment, in a more conversational way, you can leverage this. And here there are some examples to share here. So you can build sophisticated IVR systems here. Contoso Bank, a fictitious, if you've been following Microsoft, Contoso is Microsoft's fictitious company. So you can now build sophisticated IVR systems with Copilot Studio over the phone, that allows you to engage with customers over the phone and voice. You can also leverage all the power of generative AI features, right? So it's still going to be the generative AI on top of your grounded data in a more voice-like format. You can have a simple Microsoft Copilot Studio project that can support multiple languages for both voice and chat. So the interesting thing is that with the same Copilot Studio project, you can support English, Spanish, and any of the supported languages by just building one project. You can also optimize the speech with some custom vocabulary and sensitivity settings. So you want to filter some things that you don't want them to leverage, you can actually do that as well. And you can attach your own Microsoft Copilot Studio agent to any Dynamics omnichannel. So if you can leverage it using one of the Dynamics work streams that supports the IVR functionality, but you can do that. You can build that into it. So these are a few of the interesting things. So here we have an example, right? So here we're putting together all this by leveraging Copilot with a new voice capability. So here there's an example of building, a hotel and resort reservation system that allows you to integrate, the voice or the speech capabilities, and now you can put that together to build something that is very effective. So the example here, as you can see, enabling the voice agent. You can build your Copilot grounded with your data, and then people can now have conversations with it. And it's the same thing. It's the same process as saying, hey, this is my data source. This is my knowledge base. This is what I want you to do. It's the same way you will build a regular agent. Let's take a look at this. Let me move from here, and let's take a look at this. So here, here's an example putting it all together. So you have built your own, custom agent or Copilot chat, that's answering questions. But now you can now link it, leveraging the voice channels and the SDK access to allow, your users to have conversations or conversational interactions with your website or with your platform. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily be a platform. It could be, your web application. It could be a mobile application you build, and you can have these interactions with it. So here you can see when the user asks something like, hey, what's the time for breakfast, right? The Copilot endpoint returns is as it always does, whether it is by typing it in or by speaking it in. It will still go ahead and use your data sources that you use to get the information. So for instance, because you asked about breakfast, it now goes in there to say, hey, this is the website or the source for breakfast information. It will go and pull that up. And here, like I mentioned, it can be both audio and text. So it can speak it back to you, and you can also speak it back to it and ask it to do stuff. So let's listen.
What time is breakfast tomorrow?
Breakfast is served from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the main dining area.
Can I get it delivered to my room?
Sure, here is the in-room dining menu.
Are blueberry pancakes gluten-free?
Unfortunately, no. Blueberry pancakes are not gluten-free as it contains all-purpose flour.
Okay. In that case, please order bacon and eggs for me at 7:30 a.m.
All right. I have placed your order.
Oh, and one more thing. Can I get a wake-up call tomorrow morning at 6?
I've set the wake-up call for you at 6 a.m.
So that possibility is there, right? And that's what I'm saying. Think about it this way, right? Think about it this way. Imagine, even for that example that I just showed you guys. So imagine it's a hospital, or wherever, and you're booking an appointment. That is, you're able to have a conversation with the agent to look at, hey, based on the business's appointment schedule, these are the open slots. Oh, let's come down home. Let's say, now our passport application processes. You go to Ghana passport application website, and it's there, and you can just have a conversation. Okay, I want to get a passport. Okay, we'll ask you for all this information and say, well, and you can actually do payment, right? You can say, I want standard this, and we say, okay, for standard, you need to pay this amount of money. It goes behind the scenes, use the connectors, you pay, it gives you a reference, and it tells you, okay, I see you've paid based on your reference code. What application center? So imagine this, right? That is where we're getting to, and that possibility is now. That possibility is now. It's not in the future, it's now. And that is what over 50,000 Copilot Studio customers are saying, that have adopted. KPMG, Standard Bank or Stanbic Bank, we're here in Ghana, Kojizan, HP, PayPal. See, and the name and the list continues, right? What are some of the business impact? I want to hide my face and so that you can see the business impact. So these are some of the business impact. McKinsey, HV solves over 1.7 million customer inquiries per month. PayPal has reduced their IT and HR help desk volume by 40% with less than 6 weeks of development. That's one thing that the Power Platform and the Copilot Studio allows you to do, development time. Rabobank automates almost 50% of all the calls at their contact center. So almost 50% of the calls at their contact center are automated. Pets at home are saving like more than $1 million in cost. And look, the stories are just endless. The stories are just, and these are real case or real scenarios and uses of Copilot, Studio. And across all of these use cases, there are few themes of possible customer feedback that, came out from Microsoft that they are sharing, like, time to market, return on investment, easy access to multiple knowledge sources, easy building, ability to use both generative AI and traditional topics in the same agentic way, security and governance. Look, there are a lot of them. So like you see, Virgin Money, Copilot Studio acts as an enabler for great customer outcomes to reduce the number of people between our customers and experience experts. So you see, they are reducing the number of jumps or hoops by providing the customer the answers to their questions almost at the first swing. There's an important or a very typical use case here from Holland American Lines. They literally, built a sales agent, right, that allows them for their customers to quickly, purchase, cruises, and as a result, they actually achieved their return on investment in 3 months, right? Even though they had an expectation that it was going to take them 3 years to achieve that return on investment, it got paid back within 3 months because it was providing the right information, the use. How many times have you actually been on a call with an agent and they're just blabbing, going for it, and they don't seem to kind of understand the questions you're asking? This seems to have eliminated it. Now, let's listen to their story.
Holland America Line has been in business for 150 years. We've been sailing to all 7 continents, thousands of ports. We really pride ourselves on award-winning service. We want to make sure that we're able to provide that same level of service no matter where our customers engage with us. Booking a cruise is fairly complicated, and we want to make sure that we could make that a very seamless process on hollandamerica.com. So we decided to create a digital concierge service. We've been very impressed with the Microsoft Copilot Studio, its flexibility and its customization that we were looking for. Anna is our digital concierge. We had a lot of thought put into how she can feel personal. We didn't want Anna to be like any chatbot. We wanted an experience that really harnessed the power of generative AI. We wanted to make sure that the digital concierge could answer the questions for them, could really help them through that process. It really was trying to make sure that our crew member service was coming forward in a digital way. As customers are thinking through the process of booking a cruise, or if they're a booked guest and they're thinking about how they want to plan their journey on board, Anna's been able to provide all that information up front in a very natural way. We've been very impressed with the Microsoft Copilot Studio. We've been able to customize it exactly for our needs to make sure that we were getting the product we were looking for since the beginning. And what we're finding is that when customers engage with Anna, they're more likely to find the right cruise that fits their own need than if they don't engage at all. We're really looking forward to figuring out ways that we can make her more available and accessible to our customers throughout that customer journey.
Yes, that is just one beautiful story of how they are leveraging Copilot to save money, boost in productivity, increase sales. And my question to you is, what are you waiting for? Today, we've taken a look at what it means to have this Copilot, how you can use it. I've shown you experiences, I've shown you use cases. Today was just a high level of it. Now, this is where we delve into building it. So what are you going to expect in Copilot sessions coming on my live stream? These are just some of the topics I'll be treating on my Copilot stream on Fridays. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel, so that you will be part of that interesting interesting sessions that we're going to doing. And you have any questions, or if you're a company, a startup, and you're like, how can we be, Copilot or AI ready? You can reach out to me. We can do some assessment. We can sit and figure out, help you build that for. And if you want to get started with it, hey, just go to ak.ms, try Copilot Studio. And like I said, it's always it's always a good thing to provide feedback back to Microsoft on this session, on how you saw it, what are the takes for you. If you have questions, you can bring that question to me. My call to action for you today, this evening, or this morning, this afternoon, wherever you find yourself, is hey, try this and more. Go to aka.ms or try Copilot Studio. Go try it. Get the try account. Try it. Just just have fun. Go test it out. Use cases. If you have any issues or jump into any issues, feel free to to reach out to me. And yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you with it. Just a quick reminder before we run from here. Um, let's bring this here. And yeah, if you have any questions, this would actually be the time, if you can share the questions. So here, this is just an example of my, how do you call it, of my beer boards. I'm still, like I said, I'm still reviewing it as well. And from next week, we're going to have a full, and we're going to start the sessions to this. Let me bring myself here, and yeah, don't worry. I know that I'm frozen in place, and this is because for some reason my, how do you call it, my camera was hijacked by PowerPoint when I went into the presentation, so I had to move that away. Like I mentioned, if this is something that you feel you want to do with me, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so that anytime we go live, we'll be able, you'll be able to know, and you get that. And then anytime, look, this is my socials. If you have any questions you want to ask about, AI, Copilot, generative AI technology, feel free to reach me at any of these links. It's been an interesting Friday. We chose to share knowledge on Friday with you guys, so you can learn more about it. Make a day with me next week. Make a date with me next week, and then. But good thing, before we continue, let me share something with you. For those of you who are who want to, like, Sam, this is all over my head. I want to get started. I want to, where do you go? So I have an interesting, I have a good resource for you. So you can go to this resource here. I'll probably paste it in the chat as a description. So go to Microsoft.github.io, generative AI for beginners. This is a set of curated sessions, right? It's a set of curated sessions for beginners. So you can actually go and start step by step on how to get started with generative AI, and also leverage Microsoft Learn. Now, we talked about what's new with this, and let's take a look at just last month some of the things that Microsoft also released as part of what's new for Copilot Studio. Let me quickly share that with you before we run off for the day. So what's new? This is as of February 2025. So here you now have the ability to publish custom agent to the Microsoft 365 Copilot chat. Now, Microsoft 365 Copilot chat is the free version of the Copilot chat we all have. So that means that now you'll be able to create your agent and publish them for use on the chat. That's a free one, not paid. Now you can add enterprise data with the new Microsoft Graph connector. So that means that the Microsoft is opening up for you to add more enterprise data, leveraging the Graph connector. You can now import and export agent components into Microsoft Copilot Studio, so you can bring in more. The whole analytics thing has an update, so now you can include actions, analysis on transcript, enhancement. You can get all that. Then security cross-prompt injection attack. Now, if you're a web developer, you are aware of cross-site scripting or injection attacks. Definitely, in the era of AI, hackers and bad actors are also getting they're getting smarter and sleek, trying to also attack using similar concept. But what Microsoft has done is, look, we are embedding security from the core. So Microsoft provides you the ability to also stop and protect or prevent these kinds of attack as well. And like I mentioned that I showed, the Microsoft 365 agent SDK they now have for JavaScript. So for people that says, "Oh, I am not a C# developer," well, welcome to the game. You can now use the JavaScript SDKs to build your own custom Copilot. And then you can now embed agent builder, updates included in public web scoping and feedback. And now 12 new languages supported. So like I'm not talking like so languages, I mean Spanish, English, 12 new languages have been also supported. So these are the cool updates that have come as of last month for Copilot Studio. It keeps getting better. And the reason someone is asking, why do I have to redo all this again? If you go back to my very first Power Virtual Agent video and come back and look at how Copilot Studio has changed, obviously it makes sense to provide updated content and fresh content to show you how this is done. And that's why I am doing it. So once again, thank you for staying with me. If you made it this far, I think you deserve a converti. Congratulations to you. You've made it this far to the show. Thank you. And like I said, if this is something you want to do with us every Friday, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And also share for your friends and share into your network so that they can join us and learn. Till I come your way next week, I'd like to say thank you very much. Happy weekend. I'll see you tomorrow at the Global AI Bootcamp, the Accra version, starting at 10 a.m. You bring a wonderful set of audience. Let's stay safe. Let's make the world a better place. I use it through technology. What are you going to make the world a better place with? Stick and stay until I come away next week. It's bye for now.